Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Jacob Peters, and gaming is my business. And our business here today is PlayStation. Hey, everybody, it's Jake Peters here. I don't know if you got that reference. Chances are none of you did, unless you were raised in very specific circumstances. Back to that in a second. You probably noticed Fred is not here. Well, I drew a picture of him, and if you're watching the video, I drew a picture of what Fred looks like, and I put it in his little box in the video, but he is not with us here today. I'm going to do this episode by myself. This is going to be kind of like an off-the-cuff sort of episode. We're gonna fuck around with just going through some shit on Push Square and kind of reacting to it live and kind of just shooting the shit a little bit. So this will be a little bit more of like a free-form kind of old school solo podcast radio kind of doodad. So anyway, my intro, that is a reference to there's a video series, lecture series back in the day, and I say back in the day, let's look here, by a physicist named Julius Sumner Miller. Okay? Who was born in 1909 and died in 1987, and he did these videos in like the 70s that were all of these amazing sort of educational lectures / demonstrations on different aspects of science and physics and things like that. And we had a teacher in high school, where I went to high school, that used to play these videos for us all the time. And this guy, like, if you look him up, think like he's very Einsteinian in like his look. He's got kind of like a harsh face, and he's got this wild hair, and he's, got a very kind of like salty demeanor, but like he's got that very classic, voice. And he just would I don't know, like there's something about the videos that like, it's one of the things I remember about high school science class was these videos, and it was just, they were so fun. Like even though he was like this bizarre dude, he would make these videos that made science really fun. So that was kind of an interesting kind of tidbit from my history. If anybody that listens to this went to the same high school as me, you might not even know what I'm talking about unless you are as old as I am. Because the guy that showed these videos in science class, I don't know how much longer he was there after I had him. I think he was gone I had him for, I think, like 8th or 9th grade science, maybe 10th grade. And he was gone, I think, by the time I graduated. So I don't know how much this permeated. Maybe other people in other schools know of this guy. But I'm telling you, just fucking go on YouTube, look up Julius Sumner Miller, and that's the way he introduces his videos. And except he doesn't say gaming, and he says, physics is my business, and our business here today is, and it's whatever the theme of the video is. So every once in a while I'll go on this little rabbit hole where I'll just fucking go back and watch these videos. They're great. So anyway, that was a bit of a side tangent. Fred's not here today. He's got some stuff going on, and we didn't want to miss another episode because obviously we were out last week. And I don't know. I know Fred posted a thing about it, but I don't know specifically what he mentioned. There's a lot of shit going on between Fred and I, like not like between us, but like we have our own kind of personal things going on right now that are sort of, screwing things up in impeding our ability to record. So I'm not going to comment on what's going on with Fred. That's his story to tell. It's nothing that anybody needs to worry about. It's just that he wasn't able to be here today. So usually the side piece. I don't even know. I wouldn't call myself a host. I'm like the fucking color commentator of the podcast. So I will take both roles today. And I've done one of these solo episodes before, and I think they're kind of fun to do from time to time. So that said, let's get into, I don't know. We could talk about fucking video games, I suppose. But one of the things I want to talk about is why I wasn't here last week. So I didn't come to the podcast last week. I told Fred I couldn't do it because I'm mostly recovered from, but I have a concussion. Last Sunday, so I guess a week ago today, because I'm recording this a little early because I got to figure out how to do all this stuff myself. I was playing hockey and I got hit from behind up high in my neck and head area. It was incidental contact. I don't believe that it was done maliciously. And I didn't feel like I was hit that hard, but after that happened, I was playing and while I was playing, suddenly my vision just went completely blurry, which I don't know if you've ever had that happen to you before, but it is quite alarming. Honestly, I don't want to say it was alarming because I didn't think it was real at first, because it looked very much like when you get a goober in your eye or something, or your eyes are watering. And so I was like, oh, I must need to clear my eyes or blink or whatever. And then after I wiped my eyes and cleared them out, I was out on the ice and it's just still blurry. And I was like, oh, there's something more going on here. And so after the game, didn't have the blurry vision kind of subsided. So I don't know if it was related to, heart rate or whatever, but the blurred vision kind of subsided, but then it was followed by a pretty bad headache. So ended up going to the ER, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, gave me a CT scan, looked at my brain, did all this stuff. They think they're pretty sure I have a minor concussion. So nothing crazy. I didn't get knocked out. Like I said, it didn't even feel like I got hit that hard, but it was hit from behind, could have been a little bit of whiplash. It doesn't take much. Your brain is just floating inside your fucking skull. And if you take a whack, a little bit of a whack in the right spot, it can shift your brain around. And it can really mess you up. So, basically the last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday even, were kind of rough for me. Monday, I slept. I think I was only awake for 5 hours on Monday, which is fucking crazy how much I was sleeping. And which is surprising because, you hear the stories about if you have a concussion, you shouldn't sleep and someone should watch you and blah, blah, blah. But turns out that's only for certain severe circumstances. And if that was the case, they would just keep you in the hospital. They're not worried about you. If they send you home, you're probably fine to sleep and blah, blah, blah. But if anyone's ever had a concussion or not had a concussion, the way that I've been explaining it to people is it's kind of like having epilepsy. The thing about epilepsy is that we see all this in video games all the time. Changing colors, flashing lights, fast movement can trigger seizures in people with epilepsy. Well, with a concussion, it's very similar, except it doesn't trigger seizures. It triggers things like headaches, nausea. It'll trigger, it could potentially trigger blurred vision, or disorientation, things like that. So generally the symptoms that you associate with a concussion, you might feel fine, and then you watch TV and you see for example, I was trying to watch a hockey game the other day, and the guys are just skating back and forth, and there's a lot of eye tracking going on. Instantly started getting an upset stomach. My head started to hurt or whatever. And that was on Thursday. That was 4 days after it happened. So Monday, Tuesday, I didn't watch TV at all. I literally slept, or I sat on the couch and read a book. That was all I did for 2 days. It was fucking miserable. Anyway, so I guess that was the long way around of saying that's why I wasn't here last week. And I apologize because I know some crazy shit happened. We're going to get into Bluepoint here in a second. But unfortunately, that was the nature of last weekend's missed episode. I apologize. I've got to keep an eye on my phone a little bit because I've got some shit going on in the background. but it will not interrupt the crux of this episode. It may or may not be a long episode. I don't know. I just pulled up like half a dozen fucking news points, and I'm just going to kind of go through them live. I haven't read any of them. I'm just going to look at them while I'm recording this and kind of comment on them. Take everything I say with a grain of salt because I haven't absorbed any of this information. I've been totally out of it the last week. I haven't played a lot in terms of video games or read a lot of video game news or done anything like that because, the brain damage. So, anywho, games that I've been playing. This is the one thing that's difficult about recording by yourself. I'm going to take a drink, but it's going to create some dead air. So be prepared for a couple seconds of dead air. I'm drinking this. My wife got. If anyone's ever been to an Aldi before, it's kind of like a budget grocery store, but they're like everywhere, and they're awesome. But they only have certain things, and like every time you go there, they have different shit and stuff. But she got this mojito mocktail, like canned. It's like a canned mojito, but it's non-alcoholic. It's just something you can buy just off the shelf at the store, and pretty good. We had one before from Spindrift or something like that, and we really liked it. So she got this one this time, and you could tell because it's like an Aldi store brand that it's maybe a little bit like lower quality, like the flavors are a little bit more astringent or something like that. But still pretty good. And longtime listeners of the show know that I love experimenting with non-alcoholic cocktails and beers and things like that. So very interesting. But this is actually more of like a refreshing, just kind of like seltzer kind of thing you could drink. But anyway, what have I been playing? Not a whole lot. Well, so I commented last podcast, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, on how I purchased two games. I'd purchased God of War Sons of Sparta, and I had purchased Baldur's Gate 3. And I will provide a small update. So Sons of Sparta, I've played, I don't know, maybe 5 hours of it. And to be honest, after I got my concussion, haven't really played that much of it. Haven't been, I don't want to say I haven't been interested in going back, but because I have been, but it's like good, but when I'm not playing it, I'm not really thinking about it, if that makes any sense. So I'm not like striving to go back and play it some more, but I do want to get back to it. It is a good game. I'm not going to sit here and say it's amazing. There's a little bit too much kind of talking and like interruptions to the gameplay because I think they're trying to do a lot with story and stuff, and it's just like, I don't know. There's no D-pad control, which is fucking weird for this kind of game, and which is a little frustrating. Excuse me. But I still like it. I still want to play some more. I still want to get back into it. I still want to finish it. This concussion thing has completely derailed all of my video gaming. And just to be clear, if you see the podcast like jump cut or something like that, it's entirely possible that I will get fatigued by like the lighting of my webcam just shining in my eyes. And like if I start getting a headache or I start getting like, one of the ways that I describe is it feels like someone is like pressing on your brain. Like your eyes get squinty and like someone's like pressing on your brain, and it's like hard. It's like hard to like, it's not like it's hard to see. I don't know how to describe it. Go get brain damage if you want to know what I mean. Don't do it. It's fucking horrible. Anyway, so Sons of Sparta kind of on hold for, I don't want to say the near future, probably the near future, while I kind of get my feet back under me with gaming and stuff. Same thing with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I have not played it in over a week because I haven't played it since I got my concussion. But the one thing that I have played is Baldur's Gate 3. And the reason is twofold. One, it's something that my wife and I can play together, and we've been kind of enjoying doing that for like an hour or two every night. We didn't play it for like 3 or 4 days. I think we played it for like 4 days, 5 days actually, after my concussion. And then the last couple of days we started picking it up again. But we're probably, I think our save is like 15 or 16 hours in to the game. It's a very long game, so we're still like at the beginning. But it's a lot of fun. It is very there's a lot of shit going on in it. Like a lot of systems, a lot of like learning what the game means when it says that something works a certain way. And if you don't know Dungeons and Dragons, maybe some of this stuff, maybe if you do know Dungeons and Dragons, I mean, this stuff would be a little bit more familiar to you, and it would make sense. But for me, some things are I'm very unsure of what is going on. Like, for example, we got this character recently who he just leveled up and got this ability to like blow this like acid cloud or something, or maybe it's like a poison cloud or something. And when you select, so I got into a battle last night. I ran up to between a couple people because when you select the poison cloud ability, it creates this circle around you. And I'm like, okay, so it must be an AoE attack around me. I blow this poison cloud and it fills the circle, right? So I run up between these two guys. There's one on my left, one on my right. Both of them are within the circle. And I have to click somewhere though. So I click on the ground in front of me thinking like, oh, it just needs me to pick a direction, but this circle is the AoE for the attack. Turns out the circle is just my range. And I actually had to click on a person. And so I ended up just like blowing a fucking poison cloud and wasting my action and everything, and just like at nobody. I also did a similar thing where a lot of times when you get a character and you're in combat, you have the move first. Well, if you select an attack and then you click like on the ground, like thinking you're gonna move, your character will just literally attack the ground, which is, to me, it's like, I get the game is very freeform and it's trying to let you do whatever you want, and you literally can do things like shoot water and cause it to electrify, or shoot a fucking brazier and have it fall down, or do this, that, or whatever. And so I get that they want you to be able to kind of do whatever you want, but sometimes it would be cool to have a little bit of constraint. Like, obviously I don't want to fucking shoot the ground, all right, for this. Like I'm not shooting at a puddle of water. I'm not shooting at a brazier. I'm not shooting at a fucking bad guy. I'm literally just like pointing at the rocks on the ground that do nothing. Why are you like, give me like an invalid target kind of shit or something. But I just wasted my action. Another thing that happened that kind of threw me for a loop was my character got knocked down into this pit with these 2 giant spiders in it. And their only way to get out is through this locked gate. And I had a guy run around, unlock the gate, and it opened it up. And I had one action before the spiders were able to attack me. And so I was like, cool, I'm going to go through the gate, close the gate, then the spiders will be locked in there. They won't be able to attack me. So I just click on the fucking lever to close the gate. And what happens is my character walks up to the shortest path possible, hits the lever, and the gate closes with me still inside. Because I didn't actively move my character to the other side of where the gate is and then tell it to close the fucking gate or hit the lever. And so, because he could, I guess, technically reach the lever even though he was inside of the gate. So there's like little shit like that where it's just like, is the game doing it like this on purpose because they want you to have the freedom to be able to make really stupid fucking mistakes? Or is it a flaw, or is it something about the design that they didn't account for? I don't know. But all in all, I will say it's very enjoyable. The combat's really fun. We've been a lot of like the skill check stuff and everything is really cool, and like the conversations and things. The way that you kind of move through levels is really cool. I will admit that like the game it makes it really difficult to kind of see where you're going. Like one of the things I wish is like you have the ability to move your camera up and down. Like if you move it all the way up, it goes into fully top down view. And if you move it all the way down, it's almost like third person, like right behind your character that you're controlling. But what I want is to be on isometric and then just zoom out. And it doesn't seem like it gives you that ability. Maybe it does, and I didn't see it. But but I don't know. So anyway, what was I gonna say? But all in all, really enjoying it. It is a little clumsy couch co-op, just like being able to see everything, because if the characters get too far apart, it snaps the split screen, and then everything slows down because it's processing literally two images at the same time. However, it's been very fun. I've been really enjoying some of the like neat stuff you can do. Like for example, we were fighting one bad guy and they were like on this bridge, and Sarah went up to the side of her and just used the shove action and just shoved her off of the fucking bridge and killed her. And this enemy would have been very difficult to kill in combat by herself. So there's a lot of like cool shit that it lets you do. Still getting used to a lot of the systems, still getting used to the short rest, long rest mechanics and how all the fucking skills work, and the way that you level your characters is like very intense. Like it's not just, put a couple of skill points on a skill tree. It's like there's a lot of shit going on. It's like, preparing spells and learning spells and selecting cantrips, and you can multi-class, or you can fucking pick all these other perks that you get every few levels, or you can, I don't know, it's a lot. So anyway, that game is a game that I do think about a lot when I'm not playing it. And so that's why I've been kind of all about it. And I'm really, really enjoying it so far. Anyway, so what do I want to say? I don't know. Let's look at some shit on the internet here. So I just went to Push Square because, quite frankly, it's a PlayStation-centric website. They do a great job. They're UK-based. But I will say that a lot of this is just that I don't have a lot of bandwidth right now to be doing a lot of research and reading a bunch of shit and getting back into it. So I figured I would just talk a little bit more on like the games that I'm playing and, some of the news that's going on right now. And the big thing that has happened over the past couple weeks, I would say, is that Bluepoint Games has been closed, which is like totally surprising. I don't think anybody saw this coming. And I don't know that there has been any kind of explanation as to why Bluepoint has closed, but the internet has fucking melted down about it in the PlayStation space, because they have never in recent memory released something that has been bad. They have been a wonderful resource for remaking games, thinking about stuff like the Metal Gear Collection, thinking about Shadow of the Colossus, thinking about Demon's Souls Remake. We've really been hoping... Oh, they did the fucking Uncharted trilogy, the Nathan Drake Collection, which is amazing on PS4. So the fact that, obviously everyone was disappointed to find out via some leaks and closure with the cancellations of the live service games that they were working on not only God of War Ragnarok, but after that a God of War live service game, which is like everyone collectively stared at each other and was like, what? Because one, God of War doesn't really make sense for a live service game from my perspective. I mean, maybe you could come up with something in the God of War universe that kind of makes sense for live service. However, traditionally, God of War is very story-based. It's like single-player kind of fare, at least in recent memory. So why are we doing this? And so they got closed, and everyone's like, why? I mean, yeah, they were doing this God of War game that got canceled because it wasn't good enough. But what other reason do you have to cancel them? You've got studios that have way more baggage than Bluepoint does in, like, everyone talks about Bend and everyone talks about Media Molecule. Neither of those studios have released a game in a long time. I mean, Bend released Days Gone, a long time ago now on PS4, but they had a bunch of fuck-ups between then and now, and Media Molecule famously spent over 10 years on a passion project that was like a game maker, Dreams, that was an absolute failure, regardless of how good the technology is. So I'm not really sure why things happened with Bluepoint. There had to have been a reason. Maybe there's something going on internally, but it seems like there was like a hiatus in Sony posting on their social media accounts after they announced Bluepoint's closure, or after, I don't know if it was the announcement or if it was a leak announcing Bluepoint's closure, but the internet kind of exploded, and so their social media account just like kind of stopped for like 72 hours. What is that? 3 days, which is pretty weird. And there's been a lot of like calls on the internet to fire Herman Holst and all this other stuff, and so it's very, very interesting. I'm very interested, I guess I should say, to see what is going on over there, and if they will come out and acknowledge everyone's frustration and tell us why it needed to happen, or if they're literally just gonna not say anything like they always do and just keep moving forward and just sweep it under the rug, which would be really disappointing because, they really dropped the ball with that studio. So I don't know. Next news point. Apparently, Bungie has come out and said that there will be no quarter given to cheaters in their new game Marathon, the extraction shooter that is coming out, which is doing its server slam right now. It will be done by the time people listen to this. However, I have not played it. I was hoping to play it a little bit before we recorded, but then whenever I found out I had to do it solo, I decided to record early, which means I haven't had a chance to play it yet. But to be honest with you, it's not really a game for me. I just wanted to kind of get my feet wet and see sort of how it played, because I love the way the game looks and I love the way that Bungie shooters play. But apparently, if you get caught cheating one time, you will be banned forever. So this is going to be a big deal because it's a paid game. So unless you're somehow able to figure out a way to play like a cracked version of it that you don't have to pay for, this is a big thing, because basically on a free-to-play game, someone could get banned, just make a new account, start the game again, cheat some more, get banned, start a new account, do the cycle, rinse, repeat, blah, blah, blah. But with a paid game, it's attached to your account. So if your account gets banned, you lose that game. Or you don't lose it, but you won't be able to play it. And which means that you will have to create a new account and buy the game again if you want to do that. So as far as Bungie goes, they've got they've got a little bit of incentive here. One, they don't really want to ban you because they want to get your money. They want your microtransactions, blah, blah, blah. But if they do have to ban you, then awesome. You want to buy the game again so we can ban you again? Great. That's another $40 in our pocket. I assume that's what this game costs. And so that's kind of an interesting thing that we found. Next news point here, Wolverine for PS5 is going to be released this September. They announced a couple of days ago that February 24th, which would have been chickadee. Oh, I guess would have been Tuesday. My apologies. So this would have been not quite a week ago. They announced that Wolverine will be launching on PS5 and PS5 Pro, obviously, on September 15th, 2026, which is great because that'll give you a couple months before GTA comes out. If they have any issues, they will have a little bit of runway that they could slip a little bit with their date and still not get into the GTA mess. But I would think that they're really going to want to hit this date. Give everybody a chance to buy it, play it before the holiday rush, whenever everybody else tries to launch before GTA comes out. So I'm looking forward to this game. I think it looks great. I think it looks bloody. I think it looks just, that trailer that they showed was just spectacular in terms of the way that it like displayed the violence and the visceral nature of the character. And we were all hoping that that's the way that the game would play, and it seems like it is. So kudos to Insomniac and Sony for making this game. There was like some bullshit on this article about like if Sony was using the release date for Wolverine to cover up the Bluepoint closure and blah blah blah. It's just like, I don't know, who cares? It's like, you're not, who cares? Everybody knows they did both. I don't think that anyone's gonna like, that cares about Bluepoint is gonna overlook the fact that they closed Bluepoint because they released that Wolverine launched. People that are plugged in enough to give a shit who Bluepoint is in the first place are not gonna be deterred by the Wolverine launch date. So I don't think that's kind of like a news point. That's like my biggest problem, and this might be a big problem with me like hosting a podcast about video games in general, is that like, and I have this problem generally with news, not just in video games, is that so much stuff that is listed as news in quotes I find is just like, who fucking cares? Like that's really the crux of how I feel about it, and this is kind of one of those things. So, let's see here. This might be a little bit too deep for me to get into. There's a Push Square article called Project Windless Dev Explains the Game's Giant Rooster Man Protagonist. And because I think this game really did turn a lot of heads during the state of play, and people were really interested in this fucking rooster guy. And so they put out an interview with, it looks like PC Gamer, and they're talking about that protagonist. And he says the creative director Patrick Methe, M-E with an accent, T-H-E with an accent. So however you pronounce it. He says, quote, "We knew the hero would create a shock," end quote, quote, "but I was surprised by the amount of people who were like, what the fuck?" But then we're like, I'm in before 3/4 of the trailer had even played. And to be honest, end quote. And to be honest with you, I am 100% on board with this statement, because when I first saw this, I'm like, is that a fucking chicken? And then the trailer goes on and it goes on, and I'm like, this is like really interesting and unique and fucking crazy looking. And I feel a little bit weird about it, but there's something just rad about this fucking chicken character. So anyway, you can go read that on Push Square if you want. It is, or PC Gamer, I guess, is the original article. So it's pretty cool. And they show this, like, Push Square has this just image from the trailer of the fucking rooster dude. I don't know what his name is, but he just looks super cool. Let's see here. Is there anything else that I want to get into? Oh, there is a screenshot for the God of War TV series that appears to show Kratos and Atreus, and I don't know about what I'm seeing here. I just think it looks like Kratos with like all his leather and his freaking shoulder pad and all this stuff. Like, it looks great in a video game, but I don't know how it looks in real life. Like, how does this really translate? Like, this looks like a dude dressed up like Kratos. And the kid that's playing Atreus looks like a little, like, goblin or something. No offense to this kid, Callum Vincent, I guess is his name. But he's, like, very short and stocky, and he has this, like, wide face and this upturned nose, and he's kind of pointy ears, and it just seems... I don't know. Atreus in the game was very, like, slender, and he bounced around, and he was very acrobatic and athletic, and how are you going to get that out of let me see. How old is this kid? How old is this kid? How old is Callum Vincent? He's 10 years old. This fucking kid is 10 years old, and he's going to play Atreus in this TV show. So, hopefully they do a good job, because it is really tough to get kids that age to act in a way that you take them seriously. And this is a serious story, so I'm very curious how that's going to go. Anyway, go look up the screenshot if you want. It looks like a fucking TV set. So I don't know what to say about this, but maybe when we actually see a trailer for it, it'll look a lot better. Let's see here. Is there anything else I want to get into? So apparently there is a rumor going on that Santa Monica is working on a game in the God of War universe that is not, theoretically, it's not a Kratos game. I guess it could potentially be an Atreus game, which would be, unless they really, really work on that, it might be a little bit of a disaster. But there's been some rumors going around for a while that there's a separate game going on at that studio. I guess it's not really a rumor. We kind of know that's being headed by Cory Barlog, because he wasn't a part of Ragnarok for the most part, because he's been working on his own thing. And it seems, and I'm just to be clear, I am just skimming an article on Push Square, so take everything that I'm saying with a grain of salt. But it looks like a now deleted LinkedIn post from a former employee seemingly confirms that this is the plan. And that was almost a word for word reading of the article on Push Square. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know. I kind of wish they would do something different. Like, can you just make something that's not God of War? But maybe they really want to make an Atreus game, or maybe they want to make a game about like Mimir before he had his fucking head chopped off, or maybe they want to make a game about some of the gods, the other gods, and like how they react to what Kratos is doing. Or I don't know, maybe they want to make a game about a freaking giant turtle that turns into a house. I have no idea. It could be quite literally anything. So I don't know what to say, but it seems like that is a possibility, and we will have to see what happens there. So anyway, I think I'm gonna cut it a little short today. I've got some my brain's holding out okay. We've been going about 40 minutes here, 45 minutes, and I got to do a little bit of work figuring out how to get this thing uploaded. And also it's Sunday night. I've got some stuff I got to prepare for work or whatever. And this is just kind of like me firing some shit to the internet, see what you guys think. Let me know if you have any comments on this solo episode. If there's anything, if I do another one by myself, how would you like me to do it differently? Or would you like me to do it the same way? Do you want me to make a specific topic and kind of rant about it for a while like some of these other guys do? Or do you want me to just read through some news points like I did and give you my thoughts on it? Do you want me to just tell you about my brain damage? Do you want me to tell you about fucking plowing the driveway? I have no idea. But hopefully in the next week or two, Fred will be back and we'll be able to talk more on the show. If he's not back next week, I'll either do another one by myself, or maybe I'll tap somebody else on the shoulder to have a little bit of a conversation with me about what's going on. But in the meantime, enjoy. I never did the intro for the intro. I never did like Fred's little fucking thing that he does about like the Patreon stuff. So obviously I'm JakeSaw01 on PSN. Fred is Anchorless_81. We have a Patreon. It is the one and only $1 club. You just give us $1 a month. Fred will send you a die-cut vinyl sticker plus a shout-out on the show. You don't have to be a member of the Patreon to kind of write in and talk to us or whatever. We'll just send us an email, pieces.awesome@gmail.com. Comment on our videos on YouTube. I don't know if you can comment on iTunes or Patreon or whatever, but I don't know, fucking send us comments and shit. Send us messages on PSN. I can send you, we can talk about your shit on the show next week or whatever. It's nice to hear from you guys, and sorry about the truncated show. Sorry about the fact that it's just me. It might be kind of boring. Maybe next week I'll come up with a game for myself or something like that, or maybe I'll do a little dance for you on video or something. I have no idea. If you guys remember, if anyone in this podcast was around for the early days of meme culture and YouTube video, or not YouTube, before YouTube, internet videos, Newgrounds, E-Bombs World, things like that, you remember the Numa Numa video with the guy singing that I think it's a Russian song, Dragostad Dinte, I think is what it's called. Let's look it up real quick. Dragostad Dinte by the band Ozone. They're Moldovan, which is like the weirdest shit. So anyway, if you haven't seen that video where he's doing the Numa Numa dance, Numa Numa, yeah. And anyway, amazing times. The internet used to be so fucking awesome. It's been so ruined by everyone being on it. Social media has destroyed the internet. I fucking hate it now. And sometimes I just go back and I watch some of these old videos, I look at some like freaking like I don't know. And then you got like Pure Ownage and shit like that. Like that fucking video series that was online was so fucking funny. There's just so much stuff from when I was in high school and like the early 2000s, late 90s that was just classic. And who knows? Maybe next week I'll do the Numa Numa dance for you or something. I don't know. Anywho, have a good one. And I don't have a fucking closer for this week. I guess I'm kind of by myself. Do I need to do a closer? So we did Q last week. We're just going to do this real time. What do you guys think about this? Games, let's see. PlayStation games that start with R. Let's look at a list here. All right. Taking a look. All right, here we go. Like Rage, Rage Ball, and Rager. P.S. This is awesome. P.S. This is awesome. That's my Fred voice. Goodbye.